Welcome to the Austin All Day Podcast. This is episode 9. Thank you, everyone who's listening. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, and a special thank you to all the chefs who've joined in on the podcast so far. Today, I'm here with Chef Michael Wake, owner of the Funkadelic. Chef Michael is an awesome guy, and we had a great conversation. You guys sit back, grab a drink, and check it out.
Love your setup. It's cool.
Excellent.
I'm envious.
Envious?
Yeah, it's cool. You got a good thing going on here, man.
Well, it is fun. This is the creative area.
I'm excited for you. I think it's going to do well. Just keep going with it.
Well, we're going to keep going. You're here tonight, Chef Michael Wake.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. The Funkadelic. It's an honor to have you over here.
No, man. I appreciate you letting me be here. Thanks a lot. Thanks for reaching out.
Oh, yeah. 100%. So Funkadelic is like doing well.
We're about a year and 2 months old now.
Babies.
And, we're still in infant stage. Yeah.
And you feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Every day's
every single day. Yeah. A finger on the pulse of it and, growing it and reaching out to every single person coming in and tweaking everything constantly. That's part of the experience.
Yeah, that is part of starting a restaurant, this is your own restaurant.
It is the first restaurant that is my restaurant. I've opened lots of restaurants for other people,
right?
But this is the first time that it's been my money, my concept, vision. I've done everything. I was the general contractor. I designed the kitchen. I built it out.
Wow.
All of that.
So after you've designed a kitchen, when you're in there, is it exactly how you are you wishing you could change things?
Man, every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's never perfect, right?
Oh, man, no. And even I remember looking at the blueprints, and here I'm standing with the construction crew thinking, I've never translated in Spanish how to read a blueprint to somebody to tell them this is where the wall I think is supposed to go. And then when it's in, you're like, God, this is a lot smaller than I thought it would be in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty tight.
Restaurants you've opened?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
How many? Guess if you don't know by off the top of your
maybe
head.
15.
15. All in Austin, around?
No, all over the place.
All over the place.
I'm from Texas originally.
Okay.
So normally, I've kind of been lucky in falling into. I've always sought out restaurants in kind of an infant stage. I like jumping in when it starts.
Interesting.
I meet people. I'll walk in. I'll seek them out and try and find places that are either getting started or about to open.
How's that work how do you seek that stuff out? Do you look for things going up in construction, or do you like word of mouth, things that might be opening up?
Well, I mean, when you're in any industry, as a young chef, I would always really look for businesses that I thought I would want to learn from. Like everybody, when you're starting in any kind of a job, you look for, what are these guys doing? Let me check it out and see how I feel about it. And often, for example, here in Austin, I don't know, I'm familiar with a restaurant called Galaxy Cafe.
Yeah. Well, there's a few of them now.
Oh, yeah. When I used to live off of Slaughter, Manchac area, and I wandered into their restaurant when it was in construction, their first one on Brody.
Oh.
And met the owner, said, hey, hire me. Look, I want to work for you.
Nice.
And shortly after they got that restaurant open, they hired me as their executive chef, and I opened several restaurants with them at that time.
So that's exciting to you.
I love it, yeah. Opening restaurants, to me, it's one of those things where you get to put your fingerprint on an experience. And
15, that's a lot, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I would say, we both go back to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Opening that Lamar store was one experience that I could never have imagined before.
Please, look, because Whole Foods, Austin, Texas, it's home base. This is the flagship store, but at the time, this is not considered a flagship store.
Oh, no, it was experimental at the time. Well, you remember the old store. That store was tiny.
Yeah.
It was little. I mean, it was even smaller than all of the other satellite stores now. And at the time, they had never. Lamar was the first of its kind. It was the first big box store they opened in the country, and so they didn't really know how it was going to go.
Right.
So every week we would go over with construction crews and walk it and see where it was going to be going. And it was mind-blowing. When they finally reached the point of building everything out, I got to go in and start putting the tables in, and this is where we're going to set up at, and this is where the cutting boards go. And
Wow.
that was exciting. And what I didn't know at the time was, you know, you don't imagine when 3,000 people descend on your business, what that feels like. And
Right.
it's like, it's unreal. Some of I mean, you see people crying in the corner,
Yeah.
lopping fingers off. I mean, it's, you never know. It was exciting,
Yeah.
but really difficult as well, because there were no.
And that backtracks, sorry to cut you off, but backtracks all the way to, there is no Whole Foods across the whole nation at this time.
Well, no, it's funny. And let's backtrack even further. I used to
Sure.
live in Boulder, Colorado, and I worked for what was called at the time Wild Oats Market.
Okay.
And at that time, there was no Whole Foods
Right. Nothing.
in Colorado at all. And at the time, I was a cook in a commissary kitchen, and it was all natural foods, you know, production, and they kind of shipped them out to their little satellite areas. And then they opened the first Whole Foods in Boulder. And
Okay.
it was so popular that it put several of our stores out of business right away. Instantly, I was
Wow.
like, I hate Whole Foods. So I'm never
So Whole
gonna.
Foods out of the gate had like that appeal to people.
I think, well, their branding is great.
Yeah.
Their products are great. As a company, I think they're fantastic, and they
Right.
do what they do well for a reason, and that's why they've expanded the way that they have.
And then eventually, so you stuck with them all the way till it went across the street to the
I was there
monstrosity.
13 years. I worked for Whole Foods.
13 years. So you saw a lot happen.
Oh, yeah.
And saw a lot change, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And I had a lot of really amazing opportunities working for them. And then after after the Lamar store, then they opened a cooking school, and I transferred to open the cooking school, catering department.
What was that called? The culinary?
It's called the LCC,
LCC.
Lamar Culinary Center.
Culinary Center.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was brand new. It was an experimental project. They had not ever done that before. And
Right.
that was really exciting as well, to jump in and just create what that was going to be. They had cooking school,
Yeah.
catering department. They'd never invested in that kind of a direction before.
Now, I kind of remember that it was relatively short-lived.
The reason why I ended up opening my restaurant was almost 2 years ago. Well, let's go back. When Amazon and Whole Foods merged,
Right.
there was a lot of transition that went on.
I'm sure,
They
yeah.
ended up doing some changes within the company. Part of that was our particular department ended up being closed.
Yes.
At that point, we had moved to the east side to a very large facility.
Okay.
And
So it originally wasn't on the east side.
no, not at
Okay.
all. No, it transitioned to a very large production kitchen.
That I remember.
But before that, it was underneath the Lamar store.
Okay,
If you know where, basically,
I think it's like a doctor's office. now.
exactly. No,
Yeah.
that's exactly where it used to be. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So it's moved across there. Amazon takes hold here, and you said that this is why I opened Funkadelic.
Well, what happened was they shut down our department and laid everybody off from. There was almost, I'd say, maybe 60 people.
Yeah.
So I took my severance package,
Okay.
and I had been percolating opening this restaurant for a while. It
Yeah.
hadn't reached fruition yet, but that was the catalyst for me. So I took that money and invested it, got a small loan from the bank, and I brought my team with me. Anybody who wanted to come off, at the time I was running what was called a remote locations team. I had 2 food trucks, and I worked with a
I was
catering
gonna say,
department.
so we started with multiple food trucks, not just one.
Well, I ran Whole Foods. We had 2 trucks with Whole Foods.
Oh, full Whole
and
Foods.
one of them was at the Lamar store that parked out front. It was like an experimental truck. We flipped concepts pretty regularly. And then the other one, we ran all over town on what was an actual working truck.
Oh, I've eaten off that truck.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was
Yeah.
a great experience. And honestly, it set the stage for my team, because
Yeah.
everybody that was on those trucks with me, we were constantly flipping concepts, doing new menus, playing with things all the time.
It's a good experience.
And then when it
right?
happened, I said, all right, who wants to come with me? And most of my team came with me. So I opened a restaurant with people that were already my family. You know, we
That
had
says
been
a lot,
through
right?
a lot together. Some of the people that are working at the restaurant now, I've known for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
We've opened multiple businesses together.
I mean,
so-
family, right?
Oh, yeah.
Family.
Yeah, that's the best part about it, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So when the Funkadelic starts, it begins as a food truck.
No,
It does not.
not at all.
It begins as a brunch spot.
Exactly.
7 days a week, right out of the
7
gate?
days a week. Yep.
Wow. So this is exciting. I want to ask why brunch? I know you probably get it a lot, but maybe what led you to just brunch?
I had worked in this restaurant in Boulder, and it was called Nancy's, and
Okay.
it was historic. And you know, usually as a line cook, you work nights, and you close the place down, and you know you're out till 2 or 3, trying to clean up and get done. And I had somehow landed this job in this brunch restaurant, and there was a line for an hour out the door around the corner, and I realized like, holy crap, like people are willing to wait this long. And because brunch is a thing, it's a
thing.
it's a concept, you know, people rally behind it. They're excited about it. And it brought in, there were celebrities came there. I mean, it was crazy. It was so busy that for example, my job was I worked on the Benedict station with 2 other people.
Oh.
It was that busy that there were other people. There were other stations in the kitchen. There was a pastry department. There was a whole omelet area. I mean, but
your
literally,
strict job was Benedict.
that's all I did all day
With
long.
another
the
person.
entire shift, 2 other people. That's how busy it was.
Wow.
Constantly poaching, getting all your hollandaise rolling. I mean, it was that busy that I realized like this is something I want to do, and I liked early morning hours. You know, I'd
Yeah.
get there at 5, get my mise en place, set up my station, get everything cracking, and then people would start, you know, there's something electric about a brunch shift because it's fast. It's
Yeah.
not like a night shift where you work a line where you're waiting on your steak to get done. I mean, eggs cook fast. You can get tickets out quickly. You know, there's a
Absolutely.
momentum, and it's like, and it builds as it's a night shift could come or go. You know, when you work in a restaurant, your ticket times are longer. It's harder to get meals out. You're working with multiple stations. You may have a garde-manger. You may have a sauté area. In a brunch line, it's very different. The flow is a lot faster. So
Right. Yes, that's what. There's a lot of speed involved in that.
So
right? And you
I
said it
instantly
builds.
fell in love with it.
Nice.
So after that, that was a seed that was planted. And then I had lived in Denver for a while,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you're familiar with Snooze. They're now
Yeah.
in Austin, but
Right.
they were huge in Denver,
Okay.
and they dominated the brunch scene there.
Right.
And I really realized that there is an industry to be made with that, and you don't necessarily have to work at night. And I have kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's perfect, right?
I would like to be home at night, and the idea
Especially
that
if you're an early riser.
oh yeah,
Take care of things in the morning. And there's also, you said there's something about working at the, and the speed and the brunch kind of builds, but like there's also something about getting in the morning when the world's not going yet.
oh yeah,
There's like a calmness.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mix that with the complete opposite end of the spectrum, which is a brunch of
controlled chaos.
controlled chaos.
Yeah.
But if you're executing things properly and there's a speed that you get in the rhythm of,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's completely different than waking up and no one's awake.
I love it. I mean, I'm pretty blessed. I have a lot of amazing people that work with me.
Sure.
That I don't have to be there every single morning at 5 a.m. I open 3 days a week. But that being said, I do everything with the crew. Like I'm not.
I believe it. Yeah.
I
don't
cook. I do dishes. I run food. I work the register. I do
hands on.
everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're not doing that with them in any job, it doesn't matter what you do. You're not. You don't have your finger on the pulse. Your people don't or won't respect you as much because I can get in and toe the line with any of them, and that's important. I think with your job, with whatever you do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you've gone through so many restaurants that, I mean, the Funkadelic, a year and 2 months right now.
Yeah.
And you've kind of gone through this process repeatedly. So when you do this, it's kind of like, all right, batter up. I'm ready to knock this out of the park. And I mean, you put all your ducks in a row. Have you done it enough that you kind of see what to do and not to do? And you kind of go from there. And
Well, I would say it's a lot scarier when it's yours.
when it's your money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you want to go and vomit in the street before you open the door, because it's, you're putting everything out there on the line and hoping that people respond to it and can resonate with what you're trying to create, and hopefully people like what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I will say, as far as what you're doing, the logo itself, I'm not sure what's behind your logo.
Oh, yeah.
But it is very come on, go and get them. What is there any kind of story behind it, or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically the concept behind the logo is, if you've seen it, it's a woman with her hand kind of in revolt, like it's a brunch revolution.
Okay.
Brunch for the masses
There we
is
go.
it's our logo.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Very fitting.
And the menu is eclectic. It's kind of it's comfort food, but it's a little elevated.
Where do you draw? Like, your menu has a couple things from kind of, they're all over the place, right?
Oh yeah, it's all over the place, and that's what I love about it. I mean, it's interesting because all of them have reasons that they're on the menu, but
Which is cool. And I'm assuming you put them all on there?
absolutely,
Yourself?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Anybody help? You have a sous chef?
I have a kitchen manager. He works with me.
Okay.
He's amazing. His name's Andrew.
Okay, excellent.
But honestly, everybody on our team are all stars, and I'm not even just saying that. I mean it.
I believe you.
Even our dishwasher.
Even the
he's
dishwasher.
incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty. And if in any kitchen, if you don't blend with the crew, you don't make it. You weed yourself out and end up. Somebody else fills your spot. So.
Oh, yeah. And I love that you're the restaurant owner, you're the chef, and you're there hands-on. And I kind of I think that's maybe ingrained in you, where you would almost feel completely out of place if you're like, I'm taking 3 days off just because.
I could never do that.
It could never do it,
No.
right? It would drive you nuts.
No, I
Be
love what
itching
I
it.
do. I
Yeah.
love it's. It would be hard for me to walk away and not do what I do every day there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, I can tell. And I think is it doing well?
We're doubled our numbers since last year.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, we made profit our first year, which is not easy to do as a restaurant in your first year. Which
Right. I'm not sure if you heard Chef Phil from Counter Cafe on here the other day,
yeah,
and he was talking about a restaurant being like a child.
yes, absolutely. That's a very good
and
reference.
I'm thinking about you right now, because you're a year in, and I'm like, it's like he's the dad who's up all night with the baby who keeps waking up
Oh, yeah.
repeatedly.
Yeah.
So you're not sure what to expect.
I'd
Doctor's
say
appointments, things like that.
It's definitely a lot easier now, but that is a very good analogy.
It's excellent. Excellent.
And it's true. You get a little more regularity. You get a little more. I know this is what happens next, and honestly, what really helps is kind of regular numbers, regular crowds. You can anticipate X amount of people on the regular, and that gives some comfort to the equation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're getting like regular actual people in? Do you have people who are always coming in?
Oh, yeah. On the weekends, line out the door, around the corner, down the sidewalk.
It's kind of like a dream come true.
We're packed from about 10 to 1.
Yeah, nice.
So, I mean, it's and I think the key to that is just really, honestly, taking care of the people who come into your restaurant.
Yeah.
Really making sure that you're providing what you're saying you're going to do. And if you don't, then you fix it,
Yeah.
And I think that's really the bottom line is taking care of your consumer instead of taking care of what you think is right,
That is definitely very important. And you have strict, competition here. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. So right before Funkadelic, was that a pizza? Was that what that was there?
Well, our space was vacant. In fact, I was the last tenant in there.
Okay, so it must have been in the other spot.
Well, in that building,
Yeah.
I don't know how long you've been here, but back in the day, it used to be Cannoli Joe's. The whole building was like an Italian-style cafeteria where
Okay.
you would kind of walk through. It was an awkward kind of thing.
Yeah.
I went in there once.
With a tray or something?
Yeah, literally. The whole inside was kind of decorated like a faux Italian village, and and you'd walk through.
Sort of
and
like
it was,
Mandolas now? A little
No,
bit?
but it like Luby's. Imagine it like that,
Okay, all right.
like an Italian villa with a cafeteria inside of it.
Okay.
And it was weird.
All right.
I didn't go back.
Yeah.
It was there about 6 years.
Okay.
And then the owners of Uchi or Chico, that
That's
restaurant
what
group,
I'm
they
talking-
bought that building.
Right, that's
and
what I
then
was-
broke it into multiple businesses.
Okay,
So
okay.
behind me is Milk and Honey. Right next to me is Stout House Coffee. Then but you are correct. On the end, there used to be St. Philip's, which was Philip Spear, if you're familiar with him.
Right. No, I actually went there once or twice.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I went there all the time. I was very excited about the restaurant.
Yeah.
And it was, doing really well at the time.
It's
And
pretty good. I'm not.
oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a great restaurant.
It was.
And now it's not there.
He's a great chef. He does. In fact, he just opened a restaurant downtown.
What's the name of it?
Oh man,
Not Commodore.
I'm trying to remember the name of it. He just opened 2 weeks ago. I think it opened.
Okay.
I'll have to remember. It's a Mexican kind of fusion restaurant.
Okay. We'll have to. We'll backtrack a little and get back on there. But yeah, it happens all. And I didn't want to get into the negatives, but
No.
I was just pointing out that that I actually thought that you guys were in that space, but I guess I've
No,
got those
and it
mixed
was.
up.
They had a very fascinating business concept. I thought they had a really interesting bakery attached to it.
Right. It was
Really
very
cool.
beautiful.
The menu was fantastic. I really liked their patio space. All of that is still there. It's been taken over by another restaurant called Cane Russo.
Which is
local.
also like.
All the businesses in that building are Texas businesses, which are actually really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all local. It's rare to find that, and I feel I actually chose that spot because I wanted to be next to Stout House Coffee. I felt like the community of having a brunch restaurant next to a coffee shop made perfect sense to me.
It does, yeah.
And we have a lot of crossover business. We're really good friends. I actually hired their daughter. I mean, we're tight. We have a very unique business dynamic between the two of us.
Oh, that's excellent.
So we have I serve people in their business. They bring coffee over to ours. I mean, it's kind of a best of both worlds scenario that you
Right.
couldn't necessarily hope for. Like Taco Deli next to Houndstooth. You know what I mean? I think that there's a lot of crossover between them as well. So.
Right. Well, that's strategic, smart, and it looks like it's working.
Well, it's interesting because it makes the whole building very familial. We
yeah.
work because we're all in the same. We have a connecting hallway. We share the same workspace.
So do you guys all kind of know each other a little bit too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's funny because they'll come over. The pizza guys will come over and get breakfast from us before they come in their shift,
Right.
or the coffee people come over and get food from us, and I get coffee from them all day. So yeah, we all know each other, and there's a lot of crossover. I serve people food in the day spa salon behind us, and Milk and Honey. So
Nice.
I mean, it's unique, and I really am fortunate that that's how it's worked out.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're right. There is a lot of competition.
There's a lot of competition.
There's
I mean, you already said Snooze.
Phoebe's,
Phoebe's, yeah.
Snooze.
We talked to Phoebe's. Camden has just opened a food truck across the
Yep.
street called Liberation.
Yeah.
I had mentioned that in a previous podcast and
Yeah.
could not think of the name. It is Liberation.
Over at South Austin Beer Garden, or
It's at the Moon Tower.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to put a smoker there.
Uh-huh.
And I told him that he's going to be competing with Valentine's.
oh, I mean, there's no competition with those guys.
I said the only thing he's going to have going for him right out of the gate is that there's no line like there is over there. So maybe he'll get some traffic from that.
Oh, I'm sure that. I mean, it's like I think in Austin, it doesn't matter how many taco shops or barbecue places you open, people will still line up to eat there. It's amazing to me.
Oh, and I think this may be the first time that I've said this on a recorded podcast. I ate there. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's off. It's off. I'm safe.
You're
now.
part of the masses now.
I'm part of the masses. It was absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
So, no worries there. But he opened that across the way, and
Yeah.
So Phoebe's you mentioned, Snooze. There's other. Where are the other brunch? I mean, 24 is. That's not. I mean, that's that is brunch, I guess, in a sense.
I mean, the 24 hours are open. Yeah, absolutely.
They're open, yeah.
I mean, I feel like almost everybody does a Sunday or Saturday brunch,
Yeah. Well,
which you
and
could say is competition, obviously. So,
I'm curious how your Easter brunch went.
it was kind of, it was our second one, and I didn't, it's kind of hard to guess because a lot of people travel or go to church.
Right.
So it was a little less crazy than I anticipated. We
Yeah.
were still busy, but it wasn't as mass hysteric. I mean, we were poised, ready for whatever, but it wasn't as nuts as you would have imagined.
Well, no, I've been out and about asking people, and the general, that's what most people have said, and there's been one place, North Italia,
Yeah,
at
another
the
place.
Domain in downtown. They said that they were just slammed,
Yeah.
and then I've learned that they do brunch twice a year on Mother's Day and on Easter.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense that, they're slammed. They have a special menu. People are taking advantage of it. But
Yeah.
generally, I even went out for brunch, and I was hesitant the whole time because I didn't want to go get stuck in a big line and the whole charades. And we went out and got seated right away, and there was no wait.
Where'd you go?
Culinary Dropout.
How was it?
It was actually delicious.
Good.
I've been going over there for 3 years, and
Interesting
never.
business. Yeah.
It is interesting. I didn't go during the live music. I think they actually ended up having live music towards the end of when we left. But that's their big thing. Actually, the Austin All Day episode 1 is with Chef Joe Z from the Culinary Dropout. I have no idea if that's why I ended up going there for brunch, but I needed to eat there.
Yeah, it's a cool concept.
It is a cool concept, and the food was delicious.
Good.
I was not disappointed. I think I'm starting to get this weird soft spot for brunch.
You should. It's a unique time to eat, and I think that people are. I think it's different than other. It's different than other meals because people have expectations of what they think brunch is supposed to be, or what dishes should be on a brunch menu.
So you've done a little bit of research on that. I mean, because thinking about it, what do people expect? Do you think? What, they eat pancakes, French toast?
I mean, you got to have standards,
Or you
but
gotta have that.
absolutely.
What else do you think they're always expecting? Benny's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is funny because we don't serve an eggs Benedict.
Is
Which
that
is-
strategic because you don't want to make hollandaise?
No, I love eggs. It's one of my favorite brunch dishes.
Why no eggs Benny's?
Now we've run them a few times as a special, but in general, it's not on our menu.
Right. Yeah.
Mainly because there are some problem areas with running it on the regular.
Just
That for us and the dynamic of our kitchen, it's very small.
yeah.
It's a very tiny kitchen.
Okay.
We don't have a freezer. Everything comes in fresh every day.
You did mention that, wouldn't you?
It is almost the size. It's about the same size as what would be a food truck or a trailer.
That is tiny, man. I
We're
didn't
up in
realize
everybody's.
it was so small.
Oh yeah, and so I like running Benedict's as a special
Yeah, it's a good
instead
special.
of a regular because then you can play with it instead of it being a standard that's on the menu.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
That's
like
a
to
good
experiment,
approach.
So we run specials all the time.
I also think that maybe Benedict's every day might you might run into some quality issues because it's a kind of a the dish is not. I mean, hollandaise needs to be executed properly day in day out. There may be a little bit of let's get a little loose with this.
Oh yeah, hollandaise is a tricky sauce. It's not
Right.
like it holds well.
Exactly.
You can't keep it in a steam well for very long, if at all. I mean, it's got to
Yeah.
be something that you have a window of time that it's served in.
Right. No, that makes sense though. It's a wise choice to run it as a special.
But like I was telling, I mean, it's one of my favorite dishes, and
Yeah.
if I see it on the menu, I will get it. But there are questions that I ask before I get it.
Okay.
For example, like I was telling you, I worked on the Benedict station, right?
Yeah.
Where imagine we would pre-poach eggs and then
Okay.
keep them in an ice bath.
Yeah.
And then we would have like 8 blenders, and we would do a blender version of a hollandaise that
Just
would
to order.
just to order, and it would
Wow.
go so quick. It was different than a hot water bath that your typical French background would be some guy doing
Whisking away.
exactly,
Right.
which in the image in your mind of a guy, that's how hollandaise is made.
Right. We've talked about that a little bit too, so it's funny we're talking about hollandaise again, but
Oh, yeah.
it's becoming a theme.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a fascinating emulsion sauce.
Right. So, is that what you ask? How it's prepared, the hollandaise?
Oh no, I mean that's not how we. I mean,
No, when you're asking about well, when you ask if you were going to order Benedict's on
I
the
asked.
menu,
Yeah, is it made from scratch? Because
Okay.
you would be surprised how often
Wow.
it's not.
I'm learning something new. I had no idea that
Oh man, there's all kinds
don't
of.
tell me.
You should ask questions about your food all the time.
So
Then don't be
they-
afraid to.
you can get hollandaise in a bag.
A powder. You can. There's all
powder.
kinds of versions of it that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that most restaurants don't. If they have it on the menu, then they're not going to be doing it. I mean, especially a higher end business, they're not going to be.
I think a lot of places in Austin you're pretty safe.
I mean, yeah, it would depend on the menu items, I think.
Yeah.
And as a consumer, you should ask questions about what you eat,
Agreed.
and don't be afraid to.
Yeah.
I welcome it with people because I feel like it should be an open door question. You shouldn't have to hide what you're serving to somebody.
All right. I love that. Yeah, that's great. So, do you guys source a lot of the stuff on your menu, particularly like locally?
I try and get as much as I can. Yeah. I mean, we do I tell people this all the time. If I were a steakhouse, I'd have the best quality steaks. But because I'm a brunch restaurant, I'd get the best quality eggs I can find. They're Vital Farms eggs.
Okay.
We get meat that's locally sourced that I can find. And if not, I find it like we get our chicken from Colorado because they've got this amazing farm that it all comes from. And that's where we get it. Just
Right.
because I have trouble sourcing it on the regular for other places.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I try and go, whether it's our coffee, whether it's our pastries, whether it's whatever, I try and get it locally.
You guys have a smaller kitchen, so the pastries, it's not done there in house.
I started with a pastry chef, a friend of mine,
Okay.
and the kitchen he's a classically trained French pastry chef, and it just wasn't working for him.
What about the idea of a commissary to do some other stuff in for you guys?
It would be ridiculous for me to pay to use another kitchen
Yeah.
to produce pastries.
Well, not just pastries. If there was anything else, I was thinking, like the kitchen's a little tight.
It is.
Yeah. I'm just thinking.
Well, we make our own coffee cakes, but outside of that, I met this amazing pastry chef at the farmer's market up the street. We're right next door to Burger Stadium.
Okay.
And in Burger Stadium, every Saturday, they have a farmer's market.
Oh, nice.
And so I've met people from there, and now I carry some of their products in our restaurant. Our granola, for example, I met a woman. She's incredible. She had this product, and I've added it to her, so it's part of our menu.
Nice.
Pastry chef, she makes these incredible pastries. I said, all right, this is what we're doing now. Bougie Donuts, I met those guys. They're incredible. I don't know if you've been there, but
I haven't.
now I carry Bougie Donuts. They're like much like myself, privately owned individual business. They're donut entrepreneurs, and they are incredible donuts.
All right.
So I serve those on the weekends. If I can't make it personally, then I outsource it from somebody who
I
is
love
an
that.
expert at it.
Yeah, and a lot of the traffic's coming from the farmers market.
Yeah, and I
That's-
promote everybody.
That's cool.
Like, for example, I'm not permitted to have a smoker on site. We have a dish on our menu. I wanted to have a Texas-style Reuben. I'm a Reuben fanatic. I love Reubens.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do was a smoked brisket Reuben.
Yeah.
So originally, when I realized, okay, I know I can't create the best product possible, so I found a business called Slab Barbecue. And those guys are awesome. I put them on the menu. I
On
promote
Burn
them.
It,
I wear
or-
the T-shirts. Like we
Yeah.
promote their business. And it's ironic. You don't see a lot of restaurants promoting other restaurants.
Yeah. No,
and I
I-
actually sell it in my restaurant. Like I
Yeah.
promote them because they do such a great job.
That's cool. And Slab is on Burn It, or the new one on? Is the new location at the
They have one at the Y.
Belterra? No. Okay, there's one at the Y.
Exactly. And
Okay.
that's where I get we get our product from those guys there.
Okay, Slab.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
I'm there at least 3 times a week going in. I literally pull it right out of their smoker and then bring it back to our restaurant.
Wow, that's cool.
We put them in our tacos. We put it in our
That's
Reuben.
close enough, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're right up the street from us.
Yeah,
It takes
nice.
me 10 minutes to get there. But.
I love that. Promote other restaurants within your restaurant. I mean, it bring the community together, especially when it's brunch.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the all-star, move there.
No, I love doing it. And at first, people are like, well, why don't you? No. I mean, it's crazy to me. Our coffee's from Wild Gift Coffee. They're a local coffee maker. They travel the world, bring beans back here, roast them. I promote their business. It's on my menu, Wild Gift. And it's the only coffee that I sell,
Right, yeah.
I think it's important. And I think when people come in and they see those products, they recognize the fact that, this isn't just about my restaurant. It's about a lot of other businesses that really get involved in it.
Yeah, well, I think just with the way things are today, I mean, things are available to people in a way they've never been. So when you go into a restaurant and it's like, it's not just that restaurant like Tunnel Vision. You're in, you're in Sears or J.C. Penney shopping at, just their products. You're in Austin. You're in a local restaurant supporting other local restaurants or whatever it is. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I'm sure you're getting some good feedback from that too.
Well, it's the cross-promoting,
Because Slab can mention you guys as well.
Oh, yeah, and I promote them just as easily. In fact, they were just on Food Network. Diners,
Okay.
that Guy Fieri had been to their shop. And then at the same time that...
Pius or...
it was the same episode as Holy Roller.
Holy Roller was on Diners.
Yeah. So there
Did
was...
they have Callie? Was she
Oh,
on?
yeah. They had a whole thing with
Gosh,
her.
I'm under a rock. I need to go watch this.
It was pretty cool. I mean, Holy Roller is another really interesting business as well. And I feel like that, I respect other businesses. I don't want to, they're doing their thing. They're doing good at it. I think it's great. There's thousands of people in Austin that have their unique niche. And so there are a lot of very interesting businesses that are going on right now it's an exciting time culinarily, I think, in Austin. There's a lot of growth in the industry.
I agree, and it's also growing very quickly, and we're going to see a lot more happen real quick here.
Oh, there's businesses popping open that just blow my mind.
Can't keep up with it.
It's exciting, I feel like we're finally reaching a time where Austin's got a lot of very unique restaurants available to consumers that they did not before. It used to be barbecue, Mexican food. That was about it.
I mean, just to give some kind of perspective, you've been here in Austin for how long?
I moved here in 99.
99. And you've seen, I'm sure, a lot of change because, we're seeing change happen almost on a monthly, if not, almost daily basis here. But what was like the restaurants to be at in 1999?
Oh, back in the day, the standards you would have met Jeffrey's. That was the high-end restaurant that you went to.
Right.
There were steakhouses. You know what I mean? There were,
but not much more. So that's incredible from that to now.
Oh, it's mind-blowing. There were some really at the time. There were not a lot of like experimental restaurants, but they were kind of, I would say, classic American-style service restaurants that weren't pushing borders. There wasn't a lot of fusion at the time. And I think it's evolved. I think people who have moved here also cultivate change. And I feel like every time I turn around now, there's some new business opening that it's got some interesting concepts going on that I'm excited to try.
I agree. I kind of want to hold this, but I really, because we're talking about new places, when you personally get any free time, I know that you're owner of Funkadelic, but you're also a personal chef. I wanted to ask where you go eat, but I also would like to talk about, you're constantly cooking.
Well, yeah, I leave. So I work full-time at a whole nother night job, which people think is crazy. It is crazy, but...
I think you enjoy this, though.
I have a very unique whole nother separate life at night, and I can't discuss it very much, but I can
Yeah.
tell you that I've worked as a private chef for one person for the last 8 years.
Okay.
And every night, it's very formal. I go in, multiple 3-4 course meal served, plated, served every night. Chef coat. I never know how many people. Could be one person, could be 20.
Wow.
There's.
So you just don't know going in, or
I
you
usually I'll get an email. I'll
Yeah.
get a text. It'll go from could just be one person. It could be.
So it's so interesting as a chef that you get to run a brunch joint as your passion,
Mm-hmm.
but you really get to flex your like your chef muscles as a private chef where you're still doing all kinds of things that are not just brunch.
Well, I mean, I know you can relate to this, but when you and I had a bit offline, have been talking about being a single parent.
Yeah.
And when I became a single parent, I started working 2 jobs. And this job was perfect for me because I was able to work a day shift job and a night shift job. And most chefs work more than one job. I've always worked multiple jobs. What I used to do was pick one job that was a no-brainer job I didn't have to think about.
Yeah.
And I'd pick a job that I thought was going to be an education, something that I could learn something, a chef that I liked, cuisine that was interesting, something I'd never done before.
That's a smart approach.
So that you gather experience, but you're also paying your bills. And this opportunity came about in a very unique time period, and it fit within my schedule so that I could have my kids with me, and then I would work doubles the rest of the week. So it allowed me to do, and what is great, I should say, about this job is that every night's different. There's no budget. I can do whatever I want. And
That's very cool.
I go crazy, and they allow me to do whatever I want to make. And so when I first started, there was a menu. I would submit it. They would check it over. They would decide, okay, this is good, this isn't good. I want to have this dessert instead of that one. Let's have this course before that. And that's how it was. And then they got to know me. I got to know their palate a little bit differently. And then I began to play. And it wasn't just, it was baking. It was grilling. It's salads, it's appetizers, you had to become a jack of all trades. Things that I had not necessarily done before.
And you do this solo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So and now it's to the point where different people have different entrees and different courses. So it's not just, it'll be one person has 3 courses that are not the same as somebody else who has 2 or 3 courses. So each person at the table is having different items that I'm preparing, which is fascinating.
It's fascinating. It also sounds like maybe a lot of strategical planning in order to keep sane.
It's all about, and then there's shopping beforehand.
I was wondering if when I saw you shopping a couple years ago or a year ago, if now that we're talking, if you were shopping.
Oh yeah, I'll shop 3 stores a day.
Okay.
I'll go easy.
So you leave Funkadelic,
Yeah.
do shopping for this,
Yes.
almost on a daily basis.
Every day.
Every
Yeah.
day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I shop daily, and depending upon what I'm going to be making, I'll go to different shops to get it.
Okay.
So Central Market, Whole Foods, H-E-B,
You
wherever.
got a favorite out of those guys?
Just
For overall.
Well,
quality.
It depends. Like, for example, somebody that I'm cooking for is gluten intolerant, or somebody wants a specific cut of beef or a seafood item. I've got places that I'll go to get those things.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like
It will depend upon what it is I need to make.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a favorite spot, but I definitely get to know people. Like, if I go to Central Market, I know the meat monger already. I
Yeah.
can tell exactly what I want from the guy. Hey, I need this cut of lamb. Do you still have some of that back there, or a specific thing that I know that they've cut in the past, and I'll know exactly where to get it.
all right.
So yeah, I definitely have favorites that I'll go to.
You're seeing guys in the grocery stores a lot then, every
Yeah,
day.
I first name basis.
First name
At
basis.
multiple stores.
There's something beautiful about that.
I love it.
Yeah,
I really do. It's
maybe
cool.
it's just with a culinary background, but there's going to the grocery store is like going to the candy shop in a way.
I wouldn't say it's a habitual act.
In your shoes,
Yeah.
yes.
And now I find I make jokes about this all the time. Like, I love shopping, but I'm in speed mode when I go in there. So
Absolutely.
I feel like I've got a specific way that I shop, and I know how to navigate everywhere, try to get it as quickly as possible, pushing people out of the way. Like it's.
That's funny because so when you bring family member to the store,
Yeah.
Or are you just like, get out of my way? I got this. Boom, boom.
Oh
boom.
no, I've got my kids trained. You know what I mean?
Like, they know what's going on.
Oh hell yeah! No, I'll get my daughter on. Go get this. Go there right now. Pick this up. Weigh it. Give me the ticket. Bring it back here.
I bet you they love that though.
This is the list.
Yeah.
You're on this, and that. You need to go get that now.
Oh, I'm sure that'll bleed off, and they'll know the grocery store like the back of their hand too.
Oh yeah. Well, now my daughter works with me.
Oh yeah.
She runs the window. She's my expo person. I work on the inside. She works on the outside.
Nice.
She runs it like a champ. I mean, it's beautiful.
And you guys do have salads on the menu, so she actually involved with any of that?
She run now. Imagine when I say expo, I mean she is the person on the other side of the window that sorts every single item that leaves our kitchen.
She's the expediter.
Exactly.
Okay.
She feeds it to my runners, and then they deliver it to the tables.
So she sees every plate.
Absolutely. She's the last person to touch the plates before they go out to this.
Oh, that's cool.
All
that's
the
a good
tables.
job to give your daughter.
Oh man, it's awesome. It's beautiful. We get all our yelling out during the day, and then we get home. We got nothing to complain about. We don't have to talk about anything.
Right. No, that is perfect. That's a good balance. When you're doing, there's so many hours in the day. I'm just trying to. I guess paint in my head your day at Funkadelic. I'm not sure how long you're there, but then you're grocery shopping, and then however many courses, and then you get home. Mm-hmm. That's a long day for you.
I go back to the restaurant after my private chef job.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, and you guys are brunch. So what do you do there? I mean, you do some prep work, you do some paperwork.
I open the restaurant, so I'll often set myself up for the next day.
Okay.
Put everything where I want it, grind up my coffee, get myself set so that I can come in at 5:30 and I know where everything's at.
Right, yeah. That a very similar mindsets. I'm a morning person. I have to have my ducks in a row before anything happens before bed.
It's nice because you wake up. I'm not stressing where everything's going to be at when I roll in there. So that's
the one thing you can kind of take care of for sure.
Yeah.
And the coffee is the coffee you guys get there, the Wild
Gift.
Wild Gift.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you're a big fan of it.
Oh yeah. Well, I used to work. I opened a restaurant called Zocalo for the Galaxy Company. It was on. I should say they just closed it. It had been open 10 years. They closed it. I guess about 3-4 weeks ago.
Ooh.
Taco Flats took it over.
That's on West Lynn, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's right across the street from Cafe Medici.
And like Cipollina and Jeffrey's, you said?
Yes, right up the street. Actually, 1 block down from there. Yeah.
Taco Flats.
Zocalo, I opened that restaurant, right? Medici, Cafe Medici was their first coffee shop.
Okay.
And I fell in love with their coffee. And their style, their service, those guys, I knew right when they opened, like, these guys are going to kill it in Austin. And they did. As you can see now, they've got shops all over.
Yeah.
One of the baristas there was just a really interesting guy. He had a very unique passion for coffee. So
Isn't that lovely when you find someone like that?
Oh, yeah. And it could be anything. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I love those kind of people. It could be pastries, it could be vegetables, meat, whatever. I mean, I'm all about finding those people.
The liquor store for these whiskeys, I have a gentleman over there.
Yeah.
I need to get his name, but I talked to him, it's like he's just filled with knowledge. He's so passionate.
And then you end up getting a product that you're really excited about because this guy knows what he's talking about, obviously.
More information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And you feel good about your purchase usually in that experience.
You do. It's like, here's, your $60 bottle of whiskey or whatever it is. That's not what this was. But
no, but that Dickel was very nice.
It was, yes. Thank you, Chef Kelly Hudson, again, of Sway. That was delicious.
Very good.
Good stuff.
I did listen to that one, too. That was good.
He's great. He's great. He's got such an interesting story.
I haven't been to that location yet, but I am a fan of their restaurant.
Yeah. No. You've been on the First Street?
Yes.
Domain at all?
No, not the Domain. That's too far north. I don't go there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a South Austin guy.
It is. So when I said culinary dropout, it's funny because we were on our way there, and the person I was with was like, I feel like we're going out of town.
Like a Round Rock. What the hell's going on up here?
Right.
Yeah.
Luckily, there wasn't a lot of traffic, but I sympathize with that.
I went there on a blind date. That was the only time I'd ever eaten at Culinary Dropout. That was an interesting.
At Culinary Dropout.
Yeah, and I loved it. The place was great. I didn't ever see the girl again, but the place was awesome.
Yeah, it is very good. Well, so did you see any of the live music there?
No, I didn't. Not
Okay, it was not during the nighttime, or because I think they do that. Like,
is it every night of the week?
I think he said 5 nights a week.
Really?
So you must have been there on one of the 2 off nights.
Exactly.
But that blows my mind that there's 5 nights a week. I need to see that. Do you guys ever do anything like that? Oh, not.
We don't do any live music. No, our place is tiny. We
But
only
the
seat about
farmers
50
market,
people.
Is that walking distance?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's right next to Burger Stadium is where we're located. That actual building, so you could walk from the farmers market to our restaurant.
And I'm sure there's plenty of that. I mean, that's a good Saturday.
Oh,
right?
it's great. Yeah, we have a lot of people pop in from there. So
50 people sat in there.
it's tiny.
Yeah, so you get a little line. It goes on. People get in and get out, though, I'm sure. Depending on the day.
It has gotten to the point where I had to hire someone specifically to manage the flow of traffic inside the restaurant because it got so chaotic. Just getting people to a table. At first, I thought, oh, well, this should be a natural exchange. You come in. We're counter service. We don't have waiters. Mm-hmm. So you come in, you place your order, and one of the unique things about our restaurant is that instead of getting a number or a vibrating, pulsing thing that you hold, you get a tile that is a photograph of a family member or childhood friend or my mom is a retired art teacher, and I basically tasked her with this idea that I had. I thought, man, how cool would it be if you got a picture of my grandfather? So we dug up photos of all kinds of deceased and other people that if you were living, I let you choose the photo. If you had passed on, I picked the photo. So I've got tons of these tiles. They're like coasters. Right. And when you order, you get Joe. You get Cat. You get Sherry. You get my son. You get a picture of me when I was 5. So you take that to your table, and then on the ticket, it's got that name. So as a runner, you've got plates of food in your arm, and you're looking around for my grandfather, Joe, which was a picture from 1940, right before World War II. He got sent away to, the Pacific.
That's cool.
It's really cool, I love it because, there's a whole story behind it. And,
there's a whole story, and like when you're actually doing the work and running around with that food, your mind's not looking for 2.
Oh, no, and like my daughter's got a tile, right? So, imagine she's serving food to her table or somebody gets my tile, right. Or my wife has a tile, my father-in-law has a tile, it's cool.
Oh, that's definitely cool. That's an interesting fact. Does everybody know that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you come in, you know that. They'll ask oftentimes, who is Sherry? I was like, oh, this is my mother-in-law.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So you do 7 days a week there? No.
7 days a week, yeah.
Okay. No rest. Chef Michael Wake.
I try and take it at least one, sometimes two. Well, it's difficult to say I take 2 days off. I take at least one day off. I have Fridays off.
Yeah.
I spend that day with my kids.
Yeah.
But I sometimes take a partial day off, like on a Monday. But I work at my other job 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
So it's hard to balance that. I don't get one full day off during the week. I'll have half the day off, or
Your kids have picked up on the cooking at all? I mean, your daughter obviously.
Oh yeah, my daughter's a natural born restaurant person. She's much like me. She's got a high level of speed and kind of meticulous nature, fast paced. My son is but I have 2 sons.
Yeah.
One of them could care less about the restaurant business. Yeah. But both of them, they're too young to. I did have them bussing tables when we first opened, and that was cool.
Yeah.
One of my sons likes to bake, and I think different personalities have different
for a long time.
Gifts.
Gifts. Yeah.
Where people who like to measure everything. I'm not a baker.
I was going to say bakers are. There's you have to measure things to
Oh,
a
yeah.
certain, chefs are kind of more free to,
There are all, and the skill sets like that are super important, but they don't necessarily always get along. But
Yeah.
I have great respect for bakers, but I know that it's like hiring an accountant. That's not something that I do. So
Yeah.
I look for somebody who does it really well.
Right,
And
yeah.
that's just not, but that being said, yeah,
But he's into baking though.
oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
awesome.
cool. Is there anything specific that he's repeatedly baking that's good?
Well, often I'll test things at home and
Yeah.
we do it together, whether it be biscuits or pies or whatever, brownies, cookies. He likes to bake, and it's a second nature thing to him. He likes to read it and think about it and process it, and then, all right, I'm going to measure all this, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
My daughter had a short stint with cookies,
Yeah.
which wasn't working well for me because we were making a lot of them, and there was almost daily.
Yeah.
And then we got to Christmas, and we made so many Christmas cookies.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of like the grand slam moment, and we've slowed down.
Yeah.
Which is good because it was getting a lot out of hand how many cookies I was actually eating.
You have a cookie problem.
It was a cookie problem.
Yeah.
It was.
I can understand that. I have a cookie addiction, and I've come to terms with it. I've spoken with my counselor about it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with
I
it.
have a cookie problem. I'm saying that.
I have a cookie. For the record, right? I do too. Cookie problem
Yeah.
here. Where do you go eat? You.
Oh, I'm a diner guy.
You're a diner guy.
Yeah. I love greasy, but that's kind of. But that being said, I love experimenting. Some of my favorites right now are I love Kamuri Tatsuya. Really amazing business concept model.
Now they have the Lamar. They have the one on the east side there.
They have
from
Ramen
El Bru-
Tatsuya on Lamar.
And then
Same
El Bruto?
owners, totally different.
Ooh, okay, it's totally different.
Kamuri Tatsuya is more like a Texas Roadhouse version of ramen, and the dynamic, the
Wow, that
decor.
sounds so good.
It's really cool.
That's on across
on the
from
east
El
side.
Bruto, right?
I've never been to El Bruto, actually.
I think it's across the way from
I
there.
haven't been, but it's funny. I have not eaten there yet, but I participated in the first ever. It was a brunch competition. It's called ATX Brunch Fest.
Yes, I heard.
And
about
I
that.
was on TV doing this cooking segment.
Just
and
watched it.
Right after me was their pastry chef, and I didn't speak to her. She didn't look at me. But I love watching chefs and their dynamic, and she's a very. And if she listens to this, I was fascinated.
Yeah.
By her intensity. Like whatever she was making, she had this whole setup going on. And as I was getting my setup on, I stopped and I was watching her. I was like, this person is intense about what they do. Pastry chefs are like that. You know what I mean? They're very
Focused, organized.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was watching her and since then, actually one of their hosts came into the restaurant on their year anniversary before that. I think they opened it like that 1 year. They've been open now. And just happened to enter our restaurant and was telling me about their place. I've yet to be there yet, but I hear great things about it. I know it's an interesting place. So.
The chef over there, Eric. No, I'm spacing on his name, but he is an influential chef in Austin, and I really feel like I should look it up. I want to say Edwin, but I think that's wrong. But I'll go back, and just like Camden's food truck Liberation, I will correct his name. But he wants to do the podcast. He's European. He was really laid back about it.
Yeah.
He thought it would be cool.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to hold him up to it.
You should. I think it's a great thing. You get all kinds of perspectives and,
So many types of perspectives, and there's so many experiences. I mean, you've been cooking 31 years. There's so much we could talk about.
I love it. I have loved it. The industry's been good to me. There have been times that I've questioned my life choice, but it's never.
I've asked this once. There's someone who works for a Whole Foods market, and I think he jokingly or sarcastically, I had put it out there, what do you want me to ask these chefs when I speak with them?
Yeah.
Chefs or cooks or, sous chefs, whoever, restaurateurs, and he had said, and his name is Brent.
Uh-huh.
I've asked this once before, but I'll ask because you kind of just touched on it, and it's the second time, and it's funny because now I don't know if he was kidding. He says, "Do you ever stop and wonder what am I doing with my life?"
There have been times, absolutely. I think that it doesn't matter what you do, though. As a human, you come
yeah.
against challenges and you question: is this the best pathway for me that I should be? Is this what I need to be doing? So I think it's only natural to ask that question.
It's only natural, but and I'm just kind of like going off here. 31 years, this is all you kind of know, right? To cook. It's not like there's been maybe I should be doing something else.
Well, I mean, it's funny. It wasn't actually I didn't plan on being a chef. I honestly, I started cooking when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
My parents made a deal with me that if I got a job, they would help me buy my first car. So
Did you have your eyes on a specific ride?
Oh, yeah.
Which one?
72 Firebird.
Damn.
Sorry, 79
Okay.
Firebird. It was a T-Tops, beautiful car.
Did you get it?
Oh, yeah. $2,000.
There you go.
It was awesome.
So kitchen life paid off.
I started cooking flipping burgers it was in Grapevine, Texas, at a place called Brahms. And it was just a high school job that I worked 2-3 times a week. But instantly, right away, I don't know what it was about the dynamic of kitchen life, but I right away thought it was great. And so I just kept picking up jobs in kitchens after that. You know, I went to college. I cooked my way through college, different jobs, not thinking, I loved what I was doing. I liked working in kitchens.
So you weren't thinking that this is maybe what I like to do.
No, and I had some really good jobs as I cooked. And I cooked my way through school. My bachelor's degree took me a while because I travel a lot. So I moved to Colorado in 92. And I cooked everywhere. I moved from town to town, going to school and cooking. So it took me a little longer to get my bachelor. I ended up graduating from University of Colorado at Boulder. But during that time, I had been a sous chef. I'd opened restaurants already at that time. I had a lot of really good cooking experience.
Did you have an itch for that stuff back then?
Oh, yeah. I was already I was working 2 jobs and going to school full time. I still was an avid chef. I was picking up jobs, that were really interesting places to be working, but I didn't know. So I graduated. I actually got a job in my field, which was international affairs, Western Europe. I had a minor in French. My plan was to work as some sort of international business position, and I got a great job working for Prudential in an office. I was literally on the phone working with people in other countries. It was an interesting job. And
at that time, you stopped cooking?
No, I was still cooking.
Oh, so you had 2 jobs, always?
Yeah, I was working at night in a kitchen, and I was in an office. But here's what happened. I'd never worked in an office before. All this time, I've been preparing myself to work in a job that I'd never done before. Mm-hmm. So I got my first job in an office with a cubicle and a phone and a fax machine.
Oh, wow. That's literally
never
the
done it before.
stereotypical.
Had never done it. So I realized that I didn't like it. I wasn't happy in an office.
How long did it take to realize that?
About 6 months.
6 months.
In the position itself, honestly, it was the job that I should have. If you want to have a job in this field, it was perfect. At that time, it was called an international relocation center, right? So people who were going to relocate to Japan, let's say you work for Coca-Cola, they'd come to our business in Boulder. We would train you for, this is what it's going to be like to live in Japan, and here's some phrases to learn, and exchange rate, and schools you're going to go to, and this is where you're going to live, and could have been a dream opportunity for me, but it didn't click with me. I wasn't happy. I didn't like the office environment.
I wonder if
I'd been branded already,
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if that's the momentum of so many years on your feet in the kitchen.
It's funny. What happened was I ended up going back to my family and telling my parents, like, hey, I'm not happy doing this.
Were you a little worried?
Of course I was.
Yeah, because
pissed my parents off.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, my dad didn't talk to me for 6 months probably.
Oh yeah.
I told him, look,
I'm worried too.
I'm not going to do this any longer. I've decided I'm going to go to culinary school, and went back to culinary school for 2 more years.
Yeah.
At that time, there was a culinary school in Denver, the Culinary Institute of Denver. It was like a Institute of Arts, but a 2-year associate's degree. And then there was an apprenticeship afterwards, and I did that. I spoke French. I had been to France, so I decided, okay, I did old school version, brigade style kitchen, and I had already been cooking at that point. Almost, I was almost close to 10 years at that point. So I thought, I know what I'm doing. And no, I didn't know what I was doing, and I got thrown into what was a very classic style French kitchen.
Where at?
It was in Denver. It was a place called Le Central. Very French, very, very classic style. I was at that time classified as an étagère, or they called it a commis, right? And I thought, okay, I know what I'm doing. I've been cooking. My first night on a Friday night shift, I was polishing the spice rack. I was cleaning the kitchen floor with a toothbrush. I mean,
wow.
I was not doing a busy Friday night shift anywhere in the kitchen. That's where they put me. And at the time, I thought, I have a lot more experience than this. And I was, what's the word I would say, a little bruised, thinking,
yeah,
this is where, But I was an apprentice, and that's how they hired me. And it took a while to get off of cleaning the spice rack. And then I started. They promoted me to lobster killer. They promoted me to other tasks, and finally...
How do you humanely kill a lobster? Do you split it down the center or boil it?
They had this restaurant since closed.
Okay.
But it was a very famous French restaurant at the time. It was one of the only... It was French owned.
I mean, it sounds like
They brought in chefs from France to run it. Yeah. It was really cool. It was a great job for me to get. I
love how they have you cleaning the spice rack and everything.
Oh yeah, I mean it was serious. Like it wasn't. And it was. That's how they did it in France. It was a brigade system. You bring in the lowly guy
earn your way up the ladder.
And over time, they started to love me. But at first, I was a whipping boy. Much like you hear about it. And that's exactly how it was. I mean, on a Friday night, I thought my first shift, get in there, I'm going to kill it. I already got tons of experience. And no, you can start with the le spice rack, and I want you to clean it with the toothbrush. And première fois, you must clean the floors with this, And no, what? Are you kidding me? No, I need to be doing this over there. Look at this guy, No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had a fire in you.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I mean, that's a very unique experience to run into, and I'm sure you look, with a little retrospect, pretty grateful for it, right?
It was funny. I had a very typical experience where...
Well, I'm thinking romantically, where it led to where you kind of got to flourish, or did you just say, forget this. I've got more to offer. I'm going somewhere else.
No, I stayed with them for a while. Okay. I mean, what typically happens... How
did you kill the lobster?
Oh, well, what happens is they... all the tickets were in French. Yeah. The chef called the tickets in French. You don't repeat yourself. The chef calls it one time.
Yes, chef.
Yes, chef. Chef. You do it like that. Well, I wasn't on the line at the time. I was the lobster killer, right? So
lobster killer.
So let's say the ticket comes up, mild, what they had a couple variations of it, right? So as soon as the ticket was called, then I'd grab the lobster, take it from head to tail, split it down the middle, clean out the entrails, and then present it to the line guy, whoever's actually going to cook it. I didn't get to cook it. I was just the guy who cleaned out the lobster.
You were the lobster killer.
Yeah. So you got the freshest lobster possible, right? Because as soon as the ticket was called, then I'd pull the live lobster out, split it, and give it to the guy to actually prepare it.
Wow.
Or so what normally happens is, this is exactly how it happened. The grill guy was sick. He called in sick. All of a sudden, I got promoted. All of a sudden, I'm the grill guy.
Well, so that is how it happens.
That's always how it happens. Yeah.
Right.
Most kitchens, that's always how it happens.
And were you that grill guy from then on?
For a while.
Okay.
But I got a lot of valuable experience with lobster working there, because I learned how to make a very amazing lobster bisque, because you literally take those shells and grind them down and reduce them and strain them and reduce them again, and then add cream, and you add tomato. It's a very classic style version of bisque. But it was a interesting work environment.
Yeah.
And it polishes you, it beats you, and most kitchens are like that. But you explore, and I think if you're not doing that, then you get pigeonholed, and you lose your passion for what you're doing because it's a monotonous thing.
Well, the brigade system, when done in that fashion, because there can be positions, but when you start scrubbing things and you have to, get promoted to to the grill, I mean, that definitely can kind of whip you into shape. And
I don't know how much of that is around anymore.
I don't. Oh, definitely.
It's a kind of a lost transition for cooks. Now,
I think we definitely have the positions.
It's different. Yeah. I mean, I would agree. There's definitely that. I would say in most high-end restaurants, there's definitely echelons that you start at and you get moved into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a brigade system is a classic style of version of French cooking. And it is an age-old version of how kitchens used to be run. Escoffier, you know what I mean? That's how kitchens are supposed to be run, and it's
very
evolved
similar
since then.
to like a military kind of
absolutely,
all the way down to the private in the trenches.
Yeah.
So how far did you get in there? The restaurant?
Oh, I ended up at that time. I ended up just working up my way into the grill station, and then I just worked the grill, and then I worked saute.
How was it working? Like literally on your mind, and like when you had someone screaming at you in French, because I'm sure you did. Was that something that you handled well?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
I did not take to that. It took me some beating. I got beat down, and I wasn't good with that. A little bit
of stress at that time. Curious, were you doing the two jobs, or were you focused on this one?
Oh, I was doing two jobs and in culinary school. Yeah.
Man, you've been a hustler for a good minute.
You gotta be.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, I think you gotta.
Otherwise, you don't have a good brunch spot over there.
Well, I mean, you gotta kill it no matter what you do, whether you're hosting a podcast or you're selling insurance. I mean, I feel like you.
That's true. If you don't put in 100%, especially these days, you get left behind.
I just think you need to be passionate about whatever you do and do it to the max. It could be whatever. But it's important.
For sure. And we brushed on this real quick, but I'm going to ask, where are your favorite places right now? I know we said the Kamuri Tatsuya.
Yeah.
Is that pronounced right?
Kamuri Tatsuya. Yeah.
Tatsuya.
Cool business.
So next time you're over there, maybe just turn right and go to Il Bruto.
Yeah, totally.
Do that. Or La Mata is there. It's like sandwiches, I think.
I haven't tried that place yet.
So they're connected. They're the same.
Yeah.
That's under the same umbrella with Hotel Ella. Uh-huh. And, actually, I think Sway, too, and stuff like that. So like a big... there's a bunch of spots under that.
Yeah.
But where else? Because that's a great suggestion. I'm going to go there now that I know it's different than Ramen Tatsuya, which is delicious.
I love tacos, dude. I'm a taco fanatic.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Are you tacos on your menu?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay.
I totally got tacos on my menu.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't shy away from. I don't, I mean, I think tacos are just a thing. Everyone's got their place that they go, and they're crazy about it.
Like breakfast tacos, or do you guys have like?
Oh, we have variations of them. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. We have breakfast tacos, and we have carnitas tacos. We have a vegan taco. We just changed our menu. We've changed our menu like 4 times now.
When you're doing vegan taco, are you incorporating kind of like a soy product for the meat, or are you guys actually going like vegan with like zucchinis and carrots and?
Well, we somehow got asked to be on this vegan taco tour, so it was really cool.
So probably not soy.
No soy.
Okay.
Ours are charred, charred corn, charred kale, sweet potatoes, poblano,
Yeah, that's good
arugula.
stuff.
All that is charred, grilled, sautéed, mixed together. We toss it with arugula, and then we do have vegan cheese, but we don't. It's not something we just promote. We do have a lot of vegan. I try and accommodate vegans, vegetarians, gluten-free.
Man, I was a vegetarian for the longest time. No, a vegan even,
Yeah.
but a vegetarian for even longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely. I'm not right now, but and
Yeah.
life is so much easier
Oh, absolutely.
when you can just eat whatever.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think being vegan or vegetarian is like drinking decaf. You always constantly are at odds with like, this decaf sucks.
That's an
Can't I get a
interest.
good food?
Well, after going from, I was a vegetarian slash pescatarian, but for the better part of like
Yeah.
12 years, a
People treat you
vegetarian.
differently when you say that. Like if there's something wrong with you, which is crazy.
Well, that's true. And then there's just nothing on, like I would go to Torchy's, just for example.
Yeah.
And there was the fried avocado taco.
Yeah.
And maybe one other thing I found that I liked. And
Yeah.
the moment I started, eating meat again, which was another weird thing, which wasn't as crazy as it turned out to be. I thought I was going to get sick. And
Yeah.
I started with bacon.
You started with bacon.
That's what I actually Googled. What do you start with if you haven't eaten meat? And
Brisket.
oh yeah, and that's been the one thing that I can't eat is like smoked stuff. Really,
Really?
it's the kind of stuff that kind of bothers my stomach later. I can still eat it,
Yeah.
but it will bother my stomach later.
Yeah.
But it said start with a piece of bacon,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah, duh,
Yeah.
right? Who can't eat a piece of bacon? So that was fine. And then like Torchy's, for example, fried avocado taco, and then it was like somebody lifted the veil off I was like, whoa, look at all this stuff. I'm going to try these, whatever it is. I don't know the names of them because I know the fried avocado, but like something with chicken
Yeah.
or whatever. And
You mean I can order off the whole menu?
it was like a whole new world. A whole new world opened up to me.
Yeah, there's all this other stuff on the wall. I guess I can get
But
that.
it would be nice if like the vegans and vegetarians kind of had their whole world. And I think that we see a lot of that growing. But
Well, I think Austin's got a great market for it. There's a lot of
There's good
places
stuff.
that really cater to vegans, vegetarians, gluten. It's a big deal now, but it didn't used to be.
yeah.
But I think now it's a thing. I think it's a lot easier to choose that kind of cuisine now than it used to be.
And I'm interested, and I'm sure any vegan or vegetarian listening right now, when you collaborated with, was it collaboration with the vegan?
We somehow got invited to be on this vegan taco tour, and of course I'm down. Like I'm down with any kind of challenge, gauntlet down. I'm there. Like
Yeah.
I want to do it. So
Yeah.
we made a taco just for the tour, and that's the one. It was a harvest taco, is what we call it. And
Okay.
so
all those ingredients, what was the protein in it?
no protein,
Oh, okay. So that
all vegetables.
it all sounded good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys add cheese at all?
Sometimes we add bacon cheese. We do have a soy riso. We do make a tofu scramble.
Duh, because cheese isn't vegan, right? So, okay.
Yeah. No, we have a lot of vegetarian items on the menu.
Right.
And then what I really try and do, what's fascinating to me, and going back to the restaurant, brunch for the masses, comfort dishes from around the world, right? Tying it back into what we were talking about earlier is that I really listen to my consumers. I really try and take care of them. So we have people that come to our restaurant that are all nationalities, races, and that's what fascinates me about our restaurant is like there are people come in there that I would never have imagined that have found us and said, oh, a friend of mine told me you guys do this. And I'm thinking, that's awesome. I would have never thought that.
Yeah, that's great.
People that don't eat certain things, somebody blogged something, and then all of a sudden a bunch of people came in because of it, It's an
Yeah.
interesting melting pot of consumers that we have because the food that we have on our menu isn't a specific set. It's not Greasy Spoon Diner. You know what I mean? We do everything from scratch. We do everything. I don't do anything that comes out of a box. I don't have a freezer. I don't have a microwave. We make every single thing in there.
There's no freezer.
No, absolutely
Wow,
not.
That's
No.
cool. Is that common?
No, it's not common.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, if it's in our restaurant, we make it from scratch, and it's cool because
I love that.
yeah, I mean, it's challenging because
I gotta
what
keep you
it
on your
takes
toes,
to do
though.
it,
Yeah.
and we run out of stuff, and sometimes people aren't cool with that, but that's how it is,
When the quality's there, if somebody runs, like Valentine's, for example.
Yeah.
When somebody runs out of something, that's the
It's
way
gone.
the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, get over it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Sorry.
Yeah, it's not. Let's defrost this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I love that. No freezer.
Oh yeah.
Was that like a conscious? What did you ever say? Maybe we should have a freezer.
Sometimes I think about it, but we don't really have the space for it. And I
Okay.
know that sounds crazy.
No,
But,
no,
I mean, you're
I'm
lucky
interested.
to have prep space.
I haven't actually been in the back in your kitchen at all. Now I'm all interested.
It's tiny.
It's
Yeah.
tiny. I'm so interested.
You're all up in everybody's armpit, that's for sure.
Man,
You get
I
to know your
remember-
coworkers really well.
I remember amongst like the Whole Foods community, your when you guys were opening, how much talk and like just positive things I heard going around, and I think I mean that probably just goes back to you being involved with Whole Foods for a while, right?
Oh, you mean about the restaurant or the
Yes.
business or
Yeah,
me?
no,
Are you talking about the actual Whole Foods market or?
No, the Funkadelic
Oh.
when it was opening.
Oh,
I just remember I kept hearing all kinds of things, and like I remember like David at where was he at Gateway?
yeah.
Him talking about it, and
Yeah.
did he help you at all?
David?
Yes.
Oh, if it's a David I'm thinking about, yes.
Okay, but amongst just tons of people were
Yeah.
talking about it, and it's
I feel like, when you work in kitchens and you work a lot with people, they
Yeah.
become your family. And
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, 90% of my staff came from Whole Foods only because we worked together so long that I said, hey, man, I got some hours. You want to come work? They're there. Like, it's awesome. It's a familial bond that you have with people.
You know, it's funny. Whole Foods in Austin, some of my favorite people.
Absolutely.
It's very. Who told me that working at Whole Foods was kind of like working for a small college? I'm not sure who said that.
Yeah.
You know, and it was referring to Lamar, and it was sort of like that, but like it goes beyond that because I could go to Bee Cave where we were talking about Matty Galindo, out in Bee Cave now, but he was at Lamar, and people are they've kind of moved around. But
that Lamar store though was honestly a breeding ground for the company, and if you remember back when they opened or shortly for the first couple of years,
I don't, but I've heard things.
Everything was, there was a model created there that I'd never seen where we were doing volume for thousands of people, 24-hour production, 200-person kitchen team. It's not the same anymore. But back then,
I wanted to say, I don't want to get like nostalgic and like say that things have changed for the worse, but like you guys were like tilt skillets, scratch cooking. Everything was from the
absolutely.
And it's not like that now. But like there was something so beautiful about that.
Well, I think much like any business, and this is not downplaying. I mean, Whole Foods grew after that.
Yeah.
The model.
There are some corners that got cut that I never thought were necessary. I think Lamar should have retained its, for what it is, should be that place that you go and everything's made fresh. And I know that they may not be able to keep up with it 100%.
They still do a really interesting job, and I'm sure you noticed this, of starting. I think that's the test ground. They test the product there, and then they market it out from the rest of the company. If it works there, then hopefully it'll work elsewhere. And
it's interesting working there, how it goes through the cycles.
Yeah, it's a proving ground, and it has worked for the most part for them. And there are all kinds of things that didn't or do, but it is a very unique business, and I have a lot of appreciation and respect for the company. And there are things about it that I miss working there, but at the same time, I'm very, very fortunate to be on the pathway that I'm on, and a lot of it has to do with where I came from. So but it's a very cool. Was very cool, It is nostalgic, though. Going back to what you said, I think about times that were like dreamlike, that I couldn't have imagined. There were some jobs that I got I worked as a food stylist for Whole Foods for a while, which was so cool.
A food stylist. So you were like plating food for...
Oh, yeah, like in the test kitchen, on the top floor, and you're making these dishes that are then photographed and then sent out all over the country, and that's
neat.
Poster for this rib chop or whatever,
Yeah. That's neat.
there's some really cool things that they do that that you don't get to do for other companies or jobs or kitchens. That
Yeah.
there's a lot of interesting stuff. Catering, the catering department there, we did some stuff that I've never done before, like setting up an entire kitchen in a field in the middle of nowhere, cooking for hundreds of people. That just you literally set up a kitchen in a tent. You drive it out, construct it. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's for like an event of some
Oh
sort.
yeah, I mean catering. I love catering. I used to do catering for a really long time, and catering is unique because you create an experience and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's like a pop-up kitchen basically, and it's always different. It's constantly changing. There are elements that you can't control, things that are in your favor and are not.
Right.
Your menu's different. The clients are different. It could be beautiful. It could be a disaster. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
And I worked for at that time, the catering company, which they'd not done. And we did all kinds of cool events, tribal gatherings, all that stuff that they used to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
what do they not do that, the tribal stuff anymore?
well, they
not
still
for
do tribal,
not
yeah.
for
But
catering.
they closed the catering department. So that's no longer there the way in that capacity any longer. But
Yeah, I'm starting to get more familiar with catering just from talking to guys because I never had the picture painted in my head. And I think that's common amongst a lot of people who are just focused in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely cool. It's never in the same place. Offsite pop-up kitchen.
yeah, you never get bored. The cool thing about working in a catering kitchen is that every day it's different. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what menu you're going to be making, where it's at. If you're off-site, you could have a kitchen. You could be actually a chef on site doing something,
Right, yeah.
working a saute or, whatever. The menu is unique to that environment,
Oh, yeah, definitely. So you yourself with Funkadelic and private chef gig, pretty consistent with that.
Yeah.
Got the family at home. Life is, for the most part, overall very good right now.
Yeah, it's good. I feel pretty blessed.
I think it's a legit question, but I think it's kind of silly because I feel like you've come such a long way that you've kind of achieved some like maybe life goals here. I mean, obviously you want to keep the lights on at the Funkadelic for as long as possible. That's just a standard goal. But do you have kind of visions for what might be next, or
Oh man, all the time.
all the time?
Yeah, I'm never done. Never quit. I'm always.
Any you want to kind of like put out there?
Oh, I'm
Any
always
feelers?
looking for constantly. I don't stop thinking about what I could do next.
What about more Funkadelics?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That I would love to do that, but it's not. I'm not. That doesn't have to be it.
Yeah, yeah. Any other concepts you kind of
Oh
floating around
yeah,
in
I'm
your
always
head?
thinking about cool new.
There's only so many hours in a day for like a chef like yourself, though. You got the family too.
Well, that's why
it's a balance.
You get people around you that are on the same page and are into what or they've got. Honestly, some of the best ideas that are around me don't necessarily come from me. It's somebody who says, "Hey, have you thought about making this?" And all of a sudden, I'm like, "Dude, this is brilliant. We're putting this on the menu." Like,
Yeah.
I don't take credit for it. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen that some of the best things that I've done aren't my ideas. They're people that I'm working with that I'm like, hey, dude, let's put this out there and see what happens. And but going back to your question, no, I would love to open more Funkadelics. I'm not ready to jump into that water yet.
Right, yeah.
But I'm all about. I'm constantly thinking of new concepts. I'm constantly thinking of new. Well, what if you did this? That'd be kind of cool over here, or
Yeah,
I think. Anytime you walk into a new business or a new restaurant, or you're thinking, "Ooh, this is cool. I never thought about doing that," or "This model is interesting, but I would do it this way," or it's natural.
Right,
I'm sure when you hear other podcasts, you're doing the same thing, or when you when you go into restaurants or you're eating somewhere, you're thinking, "Well, I like this, but I might tweak this a little bit," or
kind of a little critical of everything, and
Well, I try not to be critical of restaurants, but
not in a negative sense, but
No,
just
I
kind of critique it
Sure.
in your own mind as what could be different. Kind of.
Every time I walk into a business, from the time I walk in, I'll even set a timer on my phone from the time that I place an order How long does it take to get my food? What's the menu look like? What are the servers doing? I'm constantly watching, looking at everything. I like to do that, but
Do you pick up on, like, do you get a lot from that?
oh yeah,
What you could change, in your own backyard?
in my own business,
Yeah.
absolutely, every single day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And we got sidetracked. We were talking about tacos.
Yeah.
We got to touch at least another good place to eat.
Let's see.
You
I
were
mean,
going with tacos.
I would say, I really like Papayote. I don't know.
Papayote.
I'm saying it's they've got a couple locations, but they're kind of like I would classify them as like interior Mexican.
Okay.
They have dishes on their menu that are not Tex-Mex. They're not and I think they do a really good job. I really like. We have I like to find dives that are just crappy looking. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily fine dining, but I do like eating out at nice restaurants. But often I feel like that I'm kind of a commoner kind of guy. You know what I mean? I don't mind spending money on a nice meal, but I like to check out other places that aren't necessarily, the place that your top 10 best restaurants to eat at. Because
Right.
I think there's a lot to be said for the little guy, and I'm all about that.
Yes. That's
And it's ironic because it used to be Valentina's. It's funny, we were talking about it earlier. They used to have, it's funny, they had a trailer at a gas station on Brody.
Brody. Yeah.
And it was in this shitty gas station.
Yeah.
And I remember getting gas there one day, and there was a line. I'm like, what the hell is going on over here? I'd never heard of it.
Right.
Most people hadn't heard of it. They just opened a shop there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got food from there. That was it. I like to investigate crappy food trucks, and I will. And if it's good, knock it out and go back. But that some of the other restaurants that are out there are really. There's a lot of interesting businesses that are out. Justine's is really cool.
That's like 4 nights.
Fascinating. Oh no, it's a French restaurant. Bistro. It's on the east side.
4 nights a week, though.
Oh no, they're open. I think they're open 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on his Instagram page. And
Yeah.
Definitely cool.
Yeah, the chef there actually came from Whole Foods. I really like Juliet, interesting Italian restaurant. That guy came from Whole Foods. He's left there since. I don't know who the chef there is now, but since he's left. But I would say I have not yet been there, but I keep hearing about Thoroughbred Bakery.
No, I've done.
I'm fascinated by their business. Much like me, very small, privately owned, independent place.
What's the name of it again?
Thoroughbred Bakery.
Okay.
And then there's some other, I would say, I keep trying to go to this one food truck, and I'm going to wait. I'll tell you about it after we get off line because I want you to check it out. But
okay.
It's an Italian food truck, but
sure.
Anyway, Bougie Donuts. Check those guys out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And do you bring the donuts home? Like,
oh yeah.
Does that? Because my daughter loves donuts.
Oh yeah.
For us, it's 3 days. If you're getting up on time for school, which is basically pre-K right now, and I'm able to get to work on time. The third day, we'll hit Taco Donut Palace.
Yeah,
because it's right next door.
It's right next door.
It's right next door, and she's like, just like the 6 little, we'll call them munchkins, but the little donut holes.
Yeah,
and it's so silly, but it makes her day.
Yeah,
and we get out the door on time.
Oh yeah, those guys are a factory in there.
Little bribery. It's great, and they're in multiple spots too. I mean, right?
Yeah,
they're all over the place.
Yeah,
little chain.
Exactly. Yeah. And they kill it. I mean, they're like a little. They're not the greatest product in the world, but they're fast. They're efficient. There's a line of people. They pack it in. It blows my mind.
It blows my mind as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's pockets of businesses like that all over the place. It's just fascinating to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's been this trend lately I've been noticing where there are businesses that open a commissary that are not open to the public, and all they do is takeout. So it's a commissary kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Chinese food is a perfect example. No storefront. You don't go in there and sit down and eat.
You just call.
All to-go orders.
Or online, rather.
Exactly. Whole nother industry.
there's a kitchen very close by here where it is a giant commissary kitchen, and I know for a while one of their accounts was if you ever go into Whole Foods and you see the pimento cheese, and it says it's like packed fresh in Austin. It comes from right down the street from here.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're, because that's not all they do there, and I always smell like, Chinese flavors really close by here.
Is it a commissary kitchen, Capital Kitchens? What's the name of it?
Literally, I don't know the name of the kitchen.
Gotcha.
I should know.
There's a lot of and that's another burgeoning industry. Is this commissary kitchens are popping up all over the place.
And commissary kitchens are, it's funny because I actually, for some reason, and I should show you why online, I thought the Funkadelic originated as a food truck.
Unfortunately for me, Google lists it that way, and I've asked them to change it, but it is not the case.
So that is why I asked. And does it, when you call the number there, do you still get the proper number?
Oh yeah, I mean, you call the restaurant. I mean, it doesn't. It's funny. People think if you really, reality is that we didn't start as a food truck, but we all came from food trucks.
Yeah.
And I've emailed Google, asked them, hey, we did not come from a Funkadelic food truck.
That's odd, yeah.
They have not changed it.
Lucky's...
people think we're a food truck even still, but we're not. We're an actual brick and mortar.
Yeah, Lucky's is on 5th Street, I think, and he started as a food truck.
Yeah.
And now he has a brick and mortar.
Yeah. Well, like Paperboy. I don't know if you've been there. They started as a food truck. Now they're going to be getting a brick and mortar.
Next to the Austin Guitar House.
Yeah.
I know that
Another
place.
brunch business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're brunch.
Paperboy is a brunch business.
I've heard like the craziest good things about that spot.
Interesting, and another interesting brunch business that is going. I mean, they do their thing. They've got set menu items. They kill it. They're radio.
The Austin Guitar House there has, when I go there, which I do frequent, and give them half my paycheck on it.
Yeah.
They hate that it's next door because they eat there all the time.
Yeah.
It's like one of those love-hate things.
Yeah.
They love that it's there, but they're like talking about the steak and egg and cheese like while they're checking somebody out.
Yeah. No, they do a great job, I mean,
So what I was saying was that Lucky's got the brick and mortar, and when you Google Lucky's, you still get the food truck, but you get the food truck number.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that that's what I was seeing for you guys, but you're saying it's just a straight mistake.
Well, yes. Yeah, exactly. We're not a food truck. We didn't come from a food truck.
But they knew where you came from.
Google?
They knew your background.
I don't know how they listed it that way. They didn't even ask me. I have no idea how that's listed that way.
Yeah, but for the record, Funkadelic is a brick and mortar brunch, and it is not a food truck. And when you call the number on the Funkadelic, you'll get the actual restaurant.
Exactly. You go to our website, it's funkadelic.com.
Which is cool. All of it's cool. It's awesome from the logo to the website, to everything that's on your menu. The Danish stuff,
Oh, yeah, we got Ebelskippers.
Ebelskippers.
Yeah. They're really cool.
And any story that tied that into being on the menu?
We have Danish food, we have Mexican we have
food, the rancheros.
Honduran, kind of we have pupusas on the menu.
Okay.
We've got American fare, your typical things you'd find at your normal brunch breakfast restaurant,
When you were designing that or creating the menu there, were you saying we just need to have everything, or were you saying it's brunch, we just I need to make it more than just French toast, eggs and
I just picked dishes that I love, and I wanted to combine them. And I think what's fascinating is like people will come there for that one dish. Like people who are Danish or are from the kind of Northeast, like
that says a lot, right?
Oh my God, I love Ebelskippers. We used to have, it's a holiday dish. You have it, for Christmas. We used to make them with my mom. I mean, and you have to have a specialized pan to make them. You can't just make Ebelskippers. You got to have the dish to do it in.
And that pan, is it like you can get it anywhere?
You have to really find it. You have to look for it. It's a unique pan. It's got like
man, it must have been exciting getting the menu going.
Well, it's exciting, but it's also challenging, I mean, I love it, but it doesn't come without challenges. So,
oh yeah,
mass producing Ebelskippers as one or two of my cooks will tell you, it pisses them off, because
Well, you can always just threaten at Benny's on the menu.
well, yeah. I mean, you can't walk away from an apple skiver. You have to stand there and you have to baby it. I mean, if you've seen them before, it's like a pancake ball, and it's circular in 3 dimension, right? So you start off with the batter in the pan, and then you have a certain utensil that you use. Once the base of it cooks solid, you push it, and then you pipe in the filling, and you keep turning it in incremental fashion so that it cooks in a 3-dimensional ball all the way around.
Oh my goodness!
So you have these pancake balls that are on a dish,
and you're
right?
piping in, what is the filling?
So with all of our food, believe it or not, I actually try and make it as traditionally as possible. So the apple skivers recipe is actually a pretty traditional dish, right?
Yeah.
The filling is always, most of the time, apples, cinnamon. So
Is that pureed into?
it's
like
pulsed, and then we put it into a pastry bag, and then we pipe it into the actual dough as it's cooking. And
that sounds good.
it's tasty.
Yeah.
And then we serve it with berries and powdered sugar and maple syrup, and it's awesome.
It's almost like a beignet with.
Well, it's not fried though, so it's cooked like a.
Okay, all right.
It's so the pan is round. It's got these. If you Google search Ebel skiver pan or Ebel skiver, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's not like a pan you've seen before. It's like imagine a saute pan with a bunch of holes in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird looking.
Yeah.
Once you see it, you're like, oh, that's what you do with it. Because a lot of people have them or have inherited them. Like they're old, usually. Like it's hard to find actually. But I will say in Japan, they have something called takoyaki. And they have a very similar pan. They're a little smaller, though. It's like a big thing in Japan right now, takoyaki, right? They're like little miniature versions of that. They're like balls. But in Japan, they typically serve them in a savory fashion, like with grilled octopus or something in them.
Okay, yeah.
So, but it's a big deal. So I got online. I bought a takoyaki pan thinking, oh, cool, maybe I'll play with this and make like little miniature versions of them.
Oh, yeah.
No, it didn't work the same way at all. Totally did not function in our kitchen at all the way I thought it might. But
right, yeah.
So
do you have multiple of the apple skipper pans?
I do.
Just in case you have to order one? And
I mean, I will say there's one cook in my kitchen, and I'm just going to say his name's Pete.
Yeah.
And he hates these on the menu. They piss him off because they take a while to cook. As soon as they get called out, Ebel skivers, he's pissed instantly. Like, fucking Ebel skivers are on there. But I do have multiple pans.
Yeah.
But they don't work as well as the actual traditional one. So they've been discarded. They don't make it because this one that we're constantly cooking apple skivers in this one dish.
Wow.
And we do churro waffles, right? So that's a whole nother thing. I actually took churro batter and I put them into a waffle maker, and then they're tossed with cinnamon sugar or powdered sugar. We made horchata whipped cream, so I have an horchata base that I fold into the whipped cream.
Yeah, churro waffles.
I do pupusas very traditionally, same recipe that you would find in that part of the world. And literally, a woman taught me named Dina. She was from Honduras, but originally they're kind of in multiple parts of Central America. But I don't know if you've had them before. But
no.
there are dishes on the menu, and none of them are really connected the way you would think.
No.
They're not like an American style diner.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think that kind of sets you apart from Snooze.
Hats off to Snooze, man. They kill it. They do what they do, and people love it. They're a factory. We're not. I would classify us as kind of like a boutique brunch restaurant. We do what we do. We're not built for serving thousands and people, and that's what they do.
Well, let's just be honest. Those that's better.
Well, they do a good job. I'm not, and I think they have a good place in what they do. But they are a chain. They're all over the country. They've got a system. Friends of mine work for them. I'm not knocking them at all. I mean, they've created in it, and much like myself, they started with one shop. They had one restaurant, and then
Colorado?
they blew up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the dream. You hopefully reach some level where people associate with you and they like your concept, and then you go crazy with it.
Right. And I was saying, for the time being, when you just get to focus on your clientele that comes there now.
Oh, dude, I love it.
Yeah,
I know
that's-
I take care of my customers, and they
Yeah.
come in. I know them. I know what they like. I know their first name, their family members, all that. So,
Oh, I love that.
got dinosaurs for kids to play with. I mean, we're a very family-centric kind of business.
Yeah.
I've got kids, and I really try and take care of families that do have kids. So, I mean, I get it.
Oh, definitely. I wish that I could say that I had been there yet, and that will change very quickly, just like Valentine's change, which within a day or two. Actually, we'll probably be there this weekend. But my folks have been. And
Oh, really? Good.
Yes. Oh, they were very happy.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. I was actually offered to go with them at the time, but I was a little tied up. But like I said, that'll probably change this weekend.
Well, I'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll say hi. I'll bring little Miss
Well, our
Scarlett.
kitchen's open, so there's no
hiding in the back
no
there?
hiding.
Well, then I'll actually get to see this. Cause
Oh,
I'm
everybody
so
cooks
curious.
everything. You actually come in. That's the dynamic that I really. There is a place in Denver called Pete's Kitchen,
Pete's.
all open,
Open kitchen.
50 style diners. My favorite places to eat. When you go in, you see the flat top, you see the guys cooking on it, flipping
Yeah,
stuff. That's
yeah.
exactly. So when you roll in, you're in the line, you're watching food getting cooked. You see tickets getting hung. You're watching
That
people
makes it-
flipping pancakes, making your French toast, cooking the apple skivers. You see everything. There's no hiding.
You know, it's funny that you've kind of like brought that adrenaline from making brunch
Yeah.
to the person waiting in line to the
Oh,
next
yeah.
to the next, and they get to see it all
Oh,
happen.
you see it as you're ordering it. And people, what's cool is I like to work the register. So I talk to everybody who comes in. They'll be like, what's that guy making back there? I was like, oh, those are our blah, blah, blah. Huevos rancheros. Those
Yeah.
are our Ramsey's nachos. Those are the whatever.
and
and-
you'd be the guy to ask, right?
well, obviously, but still,
Yeah.
they can say, well,
I
are
love
those the pancakes? What's the potato latke hash? What is that?
Yeah.
So it's cool because you can literally say, well, see that guy right there? He's actually making it. You can see this is what you're going to get when you order it.
Right.
Instead of like this idea, like, I don't know what I'm ordering. I think it sounds good.
Yeah. That's great. Well, Chef Michael Wake, I really do. I thank you. I wish you the best.
Appreciate
with the Funkadelic and everything.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for coming in. You can always come back here.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
And you know what? Please do come back, and you're very welcome. And it's
Well, let's do a Chronicles. Let's come up with topics and discuss it because
Yeah,
that sounds like fun to me.
I was thinking maybe when people do come back, we can have a guest who's been on, and also another guest who's been on, and just have a conversation
Yeah.
about whatever. I thought it might be funny to bring up just have a discussion about walk-ins.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I don't even
obviously-
have a walk-in.
You don't even have a walk-in.
I don't have a walk-in cooler.
But you've been in many.
Oh yeah.
I was even thinking of the walk-in artwork.
Oh, yeah.
Because we see Christopher Walken everywhere.
Uh-huh. No. Yeah, we
Um,
used to have one at Whole Foods. We had a picture of Christopher Walken on the door of the cooler.
And he has to know, right, at this point.
You'd like to think of that. Yeah.
You'd like to think that. But Lonesome Dove downtown,
Yeah. Cool business.
cool business.
Yeah.
Their walk-in has the most incredible artwork on it.
Interesting.
It is. It's just a guy with like, I don't know if he has a real gun or his fingers pointed like a gun to his head.
Yeah.
as he's like, like you're in the middle of the surface and you're going back into the walk-in.
Yeah.
But the guy's got a bandana on. It's done really well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, they're unique.
Yeah.
It's not a Christopher Walken poster here. But I loved that. But I mean, beyond artwork and Christopher Walken, just walk-ins in general.
Yeah, what happens in walk-ins?
There's been many.
Yeah.
Many stories, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's I am fascinated by that as well.
So, again, Chef Michael Wake over at the Funkadelic, 3:30
Great.
p.m. every day.
You got it.
Yeah, I'll be there this weekend.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Thanks
you.
for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.